Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade and holding these referees to the fire.
Did Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo just accidentally drop a bombshell on the WNBA's officiating live on air? Because what started as standard broadcast chatter quickly escalated into a full-blown expose about Caitlin Clark getting absolutely mauled on the court while the refs apparently decided to take a nap. If you blinked, you probably missed it, but don't sweat it. We caught every single second. Get ready, because this isn't just sports commentary anymore. It's a full-on public trial, and someone's about to get put on blast. Let's pull up the evidence.
And finally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. It's a little bit hard to see. She's literally grabbing her arm. It's insane, and none of that was called. Finally, at the end of the one play, they called the foul because it was like indisputable. I mean, she got whacked on the arm and then gets hit to the ground. But they weren't going to call any of the other fouls leading up to it. I mean, this is what Caitlin Clark...
Look, it's not just Caitlin Clark, but seriously, how is it always Caitlin Clark? Every single game, like clockwork, it's guaranteed. Death, taxes, and WNBA officials conveniently forgetting how whistles work whenever she's getting body slammed mid-transition. It's gotten so ridiculous that fans are out here legitimately Googling, is Caitlin Clark allowed to be tackled during a dribble? As if they missed some secret memo from League HQ allowing full contact rugby on the court.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, because they are straightforward and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something. And I believe most of the commentators should be like that, man. Just keep it real, fam. Keep it real. Call it how you see it. And, whether the WNBA likes it or not, the commissioner likes it or not, Kathy likes it or not, speak your mind, man. That's what people want. They want the truth. So, man, shout out to Ruocco, man. Shout out to Ruocco. Shout out to Rebecca Lobo calling it like.
To be clear, other players definitely get fouled. We see it. But with Caitlin, there's an almost ritualistic ceremonial brutality to it. No, not just fouled, assaulted. Every time you see the collective gasp from the players, the crowd, even the broadcast booth, while the refs just stand there, serenely chewing imaginary gum. She gets dragged from one end of the court to the other like she owes someone their life savings. And the officials, they're clearly officiating a different sport. Maybe competitive underwater dodgeball, because it sure as heck isn't basketball.
The new man, Ryan Ruocco, Mr. You Bet himself, and Rebecca Lobo ended up bringing up how players have been getting away with fouling Caitlin Clark live on television. Right here, they're talking about this right here, where JJ was holding the arm, okay? Then they're talking about this moment right here too, right? She's reaching through the body, reaching both sides, both arms through the body right here. So they're talking about this one. They're talking about right here on the swat down. It looked like she hit her hand just a tad bit here.
And the kicker. This isn't just happening near the basket, which, would at least be logical. She's not just taking shots to the face in the final 15 feet, like some brave knight charging a mosh pit of elbows. No, she's getting straight up mugged the second she touches the ball. We're talking literally from inbound to inbound. Her entire 94-foot journey down the court becomes an obstacle course where her biggest challenge isn't the defender. It's an officiating crew that seems utterly allergic to the basic laws of physics.
It's crazy how Caitlin Clark does not get her foul calls pointed out when they are actually fouling her left and right, all the way from half court all the way down to the basketball hoop. I don't understand how the referees are standing there and they not call the fouls. Her coaches have complained. Even Caitlin Clark gets on the referees of not calling the fouls when she knows there's fouls.
What really grinds your gears is the sheer mind-numbing inconsistency. One night, a light touch is a flagrant foul, worthy of a war crimes tribunal. The next, someone delivers a full forearm shiver to her ribs, and it's just shrugged off as good hustle. You'll see a player get a technical for looking at a ref sideways, but then Caitlyn gets WWE clotheslined, and the official just makes prolonged eye contact with the scorer's table like, did you guys see a butterfly? I swear I saw one. It's not just confusing, it's unscripted improv theater. Try explaining this circus to a new fan. You hype up Caitlyn, tell them she's a generational talent, one of the most skilled players on earth. Then they watch her get absolutely bulldozed by 3 defenders before she even crosses half court, and nothing. No whistle, just bad vibes. Meanwhile, the announcers in the booth are clearly having internal aneurysms, their voices cracking as they desperately cling to professionalism while losing their minds. It's like a live-streamed gaslighting session, and that's precisely where Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo stepped in with the commentary equivalent of a mic drop. Because for once, finally, someone behind the mic decided to stop pretending this was normal. They watched Caitlyn get folded like a cheap lawn chair for the 3rd time in 2 possessions, and basically screamed, "Y'all are seeing this, right?" The raw disbelief in their voices was exactly what we've all been screaming into the digital void for 2 seasons. It was less broadcast, more live therapy, complete with HD replays.
The old guard? You think the old 46,000 fans had enough of a voice? No, they don't got no voice. The new fans need to speak up. The announcers who aren't scared need to speak up. I'm sure a lot of those old announcers are scared. I'm sure they're scared. But the announcers like Rebecca Lobo, Ryan Ruocco, they need to step up and say, oh, the officiating that's going on here isn't okay. You guys watch this. Quinterly grab Caitlin Clark's arm. Like, Caitlin, where you going? Get over here. Oh, that's interesting. Why play defense when we can just grab somebody's arm, right? Interesting. Quinterly putting her hand around Caitlin Clark's waist. Valentine's Day was a few months ago. Sorry.
Because let's be brutally honest, this has been going on for far too long. We're not talking about a rough patch or a couple of bad calls. This is a multi-season saga, a Game of Thrones with fewer dragons and significantly more uncalled fouls. And for the diehard fans who were watching long before Caitlyn ever hit the pro stage, it's just deja vu with a different jersey number. The only fresh twist is that now it's on national TV in glorious HD with millions of new viewers watching in stunned disbelief. And the WNBA? Oh, they know. Don't let them fool you. They've got the footage, the data, the slow motion angles. They've got more camera angles than a Christopher Nolan film. This isn't some ancient Mesopotamian puzzle box. It's basic officiating. Standardize what constitutes a foul. Train the refs. Hold them accountable. Maybe give them headsets connected to, I don't know, reality, or just call the obvious stuff. Revolutionary, I know, because we're in an era where the league is aggressively chasing growth, visibility, and respect. They're dropping all the hot buzzwords, parity, marketability, global impact, but none of that means a damn thing if fans have to sit there and watch their favorite player get effectively fouled 30 times before halftime, like it's just part of the warm-up routine. It's like attending a concert where the speakers are clearly blown out, but the band just keeps playing, insisting everything sounds perfect.
Foul, as she gets body checked. That's a foul. That's a foul. I mean, it's not only until right now when she's finally whacked on the arm. I'm so happy that the broadcast team finally called it out directly. And it's so insane. And I talked about this in my video where I broke down the whole game. I mean, Enrique clearly fouls her, whacks her. Caitlin Clark gets out. I mean, just even right now, I actually kind of paused it perfectly, not even on purpose. You can see both hands on her body up against her chest. You can't play defense like that. I don't care what random person in the comment section tries to convince you otherwise. That's not defense.
You've got Caitlyn fighting through triple teams, arms flailing, shoes squeaking, getting absolutely decked mid-step, and the ref is 6 feet away, just blinking, not blowing the whistle, just blinking. Like their internal systems are running diagnostics to determine if physical contact is actually real. Meanwhile, the broadcast zooms in as she gets shoved into the scorer's table like a piñata. Everyone sees it. The crowd groans, the announcers flinch. The slow motion replay dissects it frame by agonizing frame, and still nothing. Maybe the ref had their AirPods in, maybe they're on a personal no-call cleanse. Who knows? This isn't about giving her special treatment, it's about basic officiating competence. You don't need to wrap her in bubble wrap or tape a do not foul sign to her jersey. Just apply the rules, evenly, consistently, like you're literally paid to do. Is that honestly too much to ask? Because right now, watching her play feels like she's in a haunted house. Every 5 seconds, something jumps out at her, and the refs pretend they saw nothing. That's wild when your average Joe on Twitter has better foul awareness than the actual professional referees. And don't even start with the rookie treatment excuse. She's not some bench warmer aimlessly jogging around. She's Caitlin Clark, #1 pick, walking billboard. The reason half the arenas suddenly have waiting lists. And yet she gets officiated like someone snuck into the game wearing a fake jersey and no one wants to call attention to it.
Caitlin Clark does not have a special whistle in the WNBA. Unlike some other players. Asia Wilson. Every time you touch Asia Wilson, she's going through the free throw line. And the announcers definitely will say she's one player that gets a lot of fouls called on her, and she goes to that free throw line. Breanna Stewart, she gets a lot of foul called. You touch her, she gets.
This isn't even about favoritism. It's about the league's entire credibility. It's about ensuring fans don't feel like they're watching utter chaos disguised as a sport. You can't market parity and progress with one hand while letting your biggest, most marketable stars get tossed around like dodgeballs with the other. Pick a lane. WNBA, ideally one where fouls are actually called. The fact that the TV announcers literally had to be the adults in the room speaks volumes. When they're the ones saying the quiet part out loud, it means the silence from the officiating crew is deafening. They didn't have to go off script and point out the blatant nonsense, but they did, precisely because it was just that obvious. Because we're all watching the same game, and somehow the only people who can't see what's happening are the ones with the whistles. So now fans are on edge, bracing for the next hack fest, like it's a sport within a sport. Will Caitlin get hip checked into a Gatorade cooler this game? Will someone slap her across the face and somehow get awarded free throws for defense? Who knows? It's a true mystery box of mayhem, gift wrapped in a referee shrug. All anyone is asking for is fairness. Not handouts, not special treatment, just consistent, accountable officiating. If a foul is a foul for player X, it should be a foul for player Y. Even if player Y happens to have 3 million Instagram followers and a Nike deal, you don't get to ignore bodily harm just because she has a logo behind her name. That's not letting them play, that's straight up letting them get played. So here we are, again, watching another game where Caitlin hits the floor more than she hits shots, and the refs treat it like some interpretive dance. But now, finally, the announcers are calling it out. The fans are furious, the evidence is overwhelming, and the league has a choice. Fix this, or keep pretending everything's fine while your most marketable star gets turned into a crash test dummy every single night. Because one thing is crystal clear, it's not just Caitlin, but somehow it is always Caitlin. And honestly, we've reached the point where this stops looking accidental and starts feeling like a boardroom decision. If you've been watching long enough and still possess the sanity to track the chaos, it's practically impossible to ignore the elephant in the arena. It's starting to look like the league actually instructed the refs to just ignore fouls on Caitlin Clark. Yep, that's the vibe. That's the theory, and after 20 games of full-blown basketball mayhem with zero whistle etiquette, tell me it doesn't feel like someone upstairs sent a memo titled, "Let her get rocked, it builds character." And what's truly wild, the most damning evidence isn't coming from angry fans or paranoid Reddit threads. No, it's coming live from inside the broadcast booth. Because when Rebecca Lobo, arguably the most polished, composed, and legendary post-player turned commentator, suddenly starts openly dragging the refs while still holding the mic, you know it's bad.
So guys, today we got to talk about something, and Paige Beckers in an interview literally exposed just how bad the referee's problem is. Like, she just exposed how bad it was in a pre-game interview for the game. I couldn't find the audio part of it, but Ryan Ruocco literally said she had to forget. So basically, she had to relearn how to play defense while fouling. So, you know, everything you learn about defense, how to play while not fouling, how to move your feet, how to do all this. She had to throw out all the good defensive fundamentals that she'd learned, and now she had to learn to go foul.
And Ryan Ruocco, too. He's out here trying to keep it smooth, trying to toe the company line, but even he can't believe what he's seeing anymore. You can hear it in his voice. Every time Caitlyn gets absolutely clobbered and there's radio silence from the officials, there's this audible hesitation like his brain is buffering. Then he'll just let out this frustrated "ah" or a disbelieving "wow," which is basically code for "I'd like to stay employed, but seriously, come on." He's watching someone get folded like a deck chair, and all he can do is narrate the absurdity with polite horror. It's gotten so outrageous that Rebecca Lobo, who could probably find a neutral, balanced way to describe a meteor crashing through the court during a game, has started straight up calling the refs out. Not in some over-the-top, fan-crazed rant. No, it's in that brutally honest, calm teacher voice that says, "You're all failing this test and you're pretending it's the student's fault." She's not yelling, she's not raging, but she's pointing directly at the problem, drawing a circle around it with a Sharpie, and stating simply, this is not okay. And when Rebecca Lobo says it's not okay, believe me, it's not okay. Because let's be real, it's not just that the whistles are late or inconsistent, it's that they are deliberately silent when it comes to Caitlin Clark. A player could literally throw a shoulder, elbow, and knee into her on one possession, and the refs will just stare into the void like they're pondering life's deepest meaning. And you know who's noticing? Everyone, including the most objective voices in the sport, Rebecca and Ryan, who are supposed to call the game, not unearth a conspiracy. But even they can no longer ignore what's now painfully obvious.
I don't think her importance is overstated. I think she's a singular force like we've never seen before in the women's game, in particular in the women's college game. And we've had great players. We just haven't had this mix of a player who does something we've never seen before in the women's college game in terms of the logo threes. Every time the stakes raise and it feels like, oh geez, there's got to be a lot of pressure on this kid, a lot of pressure, she meets the
So, what changed? Because this baffling officiating didn't start in college. This isn't some random fluke. Caitlyn wasn't out there at Iowa getting smacked around by defenders while the NCAA refs ran laps around the court, ignoring the screams. She got calls in college. She got hacked. She went to the line. It was normal. And now she gets tackled and practically has to apologize to the ref for being in the way of someone else's elbow, which naturally brings us to the spiciest theory of the season. The league has quietly told the refs, tone it down on Caitlyn. Why? Oh, take your pick. Because she's too hyped. Because they don't want to show favoritism. Because she's a rookie and they're trying to toughen her up. Or because the optics of constant whistles disrupt the grand, let them play fantasy. Whatever the flimsy excuse, it doesn't matter. The outcome is crystal clear. Caitlyn is getting absolutely rocked out there and the zebras are frozen stiff like they just saw Medusa. And this isn't just a one-off or a bad night. This is every single game, every city, every arena, different officiating crews, same deafening silence. It's like someone handed out Caitlyn-specific rule books titled "Ignore all contact unless she's committing it." And even when she does commit a foul, it's almost like the refs overcorrect, like they've been saving up that whistle for days and finally get to blow it like they've just won a game of bingo. But again, the real MVPs in this entire mess, Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Ruocco. And the thing about Lobo,
this is the last thing I'm going to say about the Caitlin Clark WNBA drama, at least for this very moment, because the discourse has gotten absolutely insane. But there has been a lot of media and current athletes coming out and saying that the treatment that players like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, like other rookies are receiving is just how basketball is. It's happened to many WNBA players in the past, and this is just the way it is. And new fans coming to the game just need to deal with it. However, this is the way that the game has been, and the WNBA has never been as successful as it is.
she doesn't speak unless it absolutely needs to be said. So when she's meticulously pointing out the sheer volume of uncalled contact, when she's breaking down frame by painful frame how Caitlyn's being bumped, held, slapped, and decked without a single whistle, it's not an exaggeration. It's a forensic analysis. She's not just narrating, she's building a case. And trust me, the jury is the entire viewing public, and they've seen more than enough. Let's not underestimate the courage of what they're doing. In a league desperate to grow, in a media environment that's meticulously curated, Rebecca and Ryan are delivering pure truth. In real time, without spin, no sugarcoating. They are saying exactly what fans are screaming, and they're doing it with poise, precision, and just enough shade to make it sting. Because while the league keeps pretending that ignoring Caitlyn's fouls is part of some grand strategic plan to let the game flow, Rebecca Lobo is calmly on air, air, with a metaphorical red pen circling, underlining, and highlighting every single piece of nonsense. And if the league genuinely thinks they're fooling anyone, they should sit down and rewatch any of the last 10 games with the commentary on. Just listen to how often Ryan hesitates before sighing, "No call there."
Ryan and Rebecca go and extend a rip at the foul issues. Absolutely unbelievable criticism. For Paige to say she had to relearn how to defend to be less careful about fouling. That's not basketball. Like, people literally say, oh, it's physical basketball. No, you're just going around hacking people. You're just going around hacking people. That's not foul. That's not defense. Going around hacking people. Genuinely. Going around hacking people is not defense. That's not defense. It's not
Listen to how Rebecca's tone tightens, barely perceptible, when she sees yet another blatant hip check on a fast break go uncalled. That's not just broadcasting, that's live commentary therapy, so now it's a standoff. The league has its agenda, the refs have their whistles on mute, Caitlyn has her growing collection of bruises, and the fans? They've got Rebecca and Ryan. They are the only duo calling these games like they're not trying to keep a secret. The only voices brave enough to say, "This isn't right," while the game continues in chaotic absurdity. And honestly, the league should be grateful for them, because without their unwavering honesty, all this nonsense would have boiled over into a full-blown crisis weeks ago. Because if you can't trust the officiating, at least you can trust Lobo and Ruocco to say what everyone's already thinking, even if the refs still haven't figured it out.